And Congresswoman, you've been a very outspoken member of Congress, of course, a great representative for the great state of Hawaii, and a good proponent to overspending. I want to talk a little bit about your legislation to stop arming terrorists, if we can. You have been very outspoken about the U.S.'s involvement with arming terrorist groups and providing funds. Can you tell us a little bit about what the legislation will do?
Sure. You know, this is something that I've worked on since the people of Hawaii elected me to come here and work for them here in Congress. And people might not be surprised to know that it is illegal for you or me or anyone else here in America to provide any type of support or assistance to terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda or ISIS or those groups that are affiliated with them. If we broke this law, we would be thrown in jail. But what might surprise people and what really makes me angry and curdles my blood is that the U.S. government has been violating this law by directly using American taxpayer dollars to support allies, partners, people coordinating with and working with groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS by providing money and weapons and intelligence and other support in their fight to overthrow the Syrian government. I've introduced legislation to end this counterproductive, illegal regime change war. This bill seeks to stop the funding that is fueling that war, again, both by directly supporting these terrorist groups or the money that's being used to funnel weapons and other assistance through countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey, who are also working towards overthrowing this government for interests that serve them, but that do not serve the interests of the American people.
Now, Representative, if I can ask you real quick, why do you suppose it's taken so long here for a legislation like this to come through? I mean, we've been funneling weapons and training and intelligence support to the Levant Front and Fursan al-Ha and Jabhat Fateh al-Shalom for quite a while now. And, of course, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, a big conversation piece for a lot of our military spending. And yet, here's this money being funneled to these support groups.
That's a great point, and you're exactly right. This is something that should have happened long ago. There's a lot of misinformation that's being thrown out there, and really it speaks back to this policy and this commitment that's been happening for far too long in our country towards continuing these counterproductive regime change wars. We saw this occur in Iraq. We saw this occur in Libya, and we are seeing this now playing out in Syria. In each of these examples, we have seen the results of this policy have been disastrous. The people in these countries have undergone far more suffering. We have seen far more loss of life. We are seeing now millions and millions of refugees coming out of Syria. We see failed states and chaos, and actually we are seeing groups like Al-Qaeda, those who attacked us on 9/11, growing stronger as a result of our nonsensical interventionist regime change policies rather than actually weakening them, which was what we were supposed to do after 9/11. President Bush then said we are going to go after those who perpetrated this horrific attack on the United States, and actually the exact opposite result has occurred here. And that's what I'm trying to put a stop to by introducing this bill. Let's stop using American taxpayer dollars to arm, support, and strengthen these terrorist groups. Instead, we can use those resources to do two things. One, to work with those like the Kurds who are on the ground in both Iraq and Syria to fight against terrorist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda and defeat them, and use those funds to invest in and rebuild our country here at home. In Hawaii, we have so many needs, infrastructure needs, education, healthcare access, and others. The same exists across the country. We've got to focus on using these resources to rebuild our country here at home.
Thank you, Congresswoman Gabbard, for representing the state of Hawaii and for being such a strong proponent of Hawaiian needs and, of course, civil rights. Thank you so much for talking with us this morning, and we appreciate your time.
Look forward to coming home. I'll be home tomorrow.
All right. Well, we'll have you back for Christmas. Aloha.
All right. Aloha.
All right. More